everyone! Welcome to the first of 14 days we'll be spending focusing on Bluestar and her life. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluepaw literally running into Crookedpaw, the future leader of RiverClan. This speed paint picks up in the timeline directly after the drawing we did of Sunfall and Bluepaw in the snow, with him comforting her and motivating her to put in more time and effort into her training. I wanted Rachel to draw this scene because I thought it was really funny and cute, and I really liked the friendship that formed between these two characters. I'll read to you now the scene where they meet. It's on pages 159 through 169 of Bluestar's Prophecy. Something heavy shoved Bluepaw from behind. Her forward paw slid on the icy ground, and she almost lost her balance. Crossly, she jerked her head around. "Watch out!" A stocky gray tabby sat behind her. "Clumsy mouse brain. You nearly knocked me oh!" She stopped mid-hiss. The tabby's mouth was odd-looking, twisted, as if it was put on upside down. She stared, surprised by how strange it made him look. "Hi," the tabby mewed. "I'm Crookedpaw." Crookedpaw? He looked too big to still have an apprentice name, but it certainly wasn't his paw that was crooked. He shrugged. "I'm guessing my warrior name will be Crookedjaw," he joked. He was an apprentice. Bluepaw tried to think of something to say to him that wouldn't sound rude. "Unless my tail goes the same way, then Hillstar might have to rethink." Bluepaw shifted her paws. Was that supposed to be funny? Her heart sank as Crookedpaw shrugged and looked away, his eyes darkening. "I knew cats would stare at me." Bluepaw felt hot with guilt. "I'm sorry," she apologized. "You surprised me, that's all." "I'd better get used to it, until everyone gets used to me." "At least no one ever forgets my name," he mewed breezily. What's yours?" "Bluepaw." Crookedpaw sat back on his haunches and looked her up and down. "You're not very blue," he considered. Bluepaw purred. "I look more blue in daylight." Crookedpaw gazed around the clans. "Is this your first gathering?" Bluepaw shook her head. "Then do you know what's going on?" Crookedpaw mewed. "What do the leaders talk about?" "If you listened, you might find out." A RiverClan warrior hissed in Crookedpaw's ear. Crookedpaw ducked to Bluepaw and dropped his mew to a whisper. "Which one's Pine Star?" Bluepaw flicked her tail towards the ThunderClan leader, but she couldn't take her eyes off Crookedpaw. Why hadn't he been to a gathering before? He must have been an apprentice for moons. "Why haven't you come before?" "I was apprenticed late," he whispered. "I was a pretty sickly kit." He puffed out his chest. "But not anymore, though." He glanced back at his clanmates. "I think I surprised the whole clan by growing this big." Bluepaw's whiskers twitched. She liked this cat. "Hush!" This time it was Dappletail who leaned over. "The leaders are speaking." "Sorry." Crookedpaw's eyes sparkled with mischief. He waited a moment for Dappletail to turn her attention back to the great rock. Then he whispered in Bluepaw's ear. "Which one's Heatherstar?" "The small one. Cedarstar's next to her." She flicked her tail from the leaders to the medicine cats gathered in their own small knot at the side of the rock. "That's Goosefeather, our medicine cat, and the white she-cat is Sage Whisker, the ShadowClan medicine cat." She shuddered. And that's Hawkheart." "Don't you like him?" He killed my mother." Bluepaw felt Crookedpaw's tail touch her cheek lightly, and then whisk away. "Where are the deputies?" he asked. Sunfall glanced over his shoulder. "The ThunderClan deputy is right in front of you, and he'll pin your whiskers back if you don't do as you're told and be quiet." Bluepaw flinched, then saw Crookedpaw rolling his eyes. Did nothing faze this cat? Stifling a purr, she turned to watch the leaders. "Great StarClan, it's cold!" Crookedpaw pressed against her. Bluepaw flinched, looking around to see if any of their clanmates were glaring at them for getting so close. But every cat was focused on the great rock, watching to see what the leaders would do next. Bluepaw relaxed. Hillstar flicked his tail. "And we have one new warrior. Welcome, Oakheart. That's my brother." Crookedpaw's mew surprised Bluepaw. "Who?" "Oakheart," Crookedpaw explained. "He's my littermate." Bluepaw stretched up to her hind legs to get a better view of the Tom, but she could only see the reddish-brown tips of his ears. "He's great," Crookedpaw purred. "He caught a fish on his first day as an apprentice." "I caught a squirrel." Bluepaw found herself competing. "He says that when he becomes leader, he'll make me his deputy." How modest. "I have a sister," Bluepaw announced. She nodded towards Snowpaw, who was sitting beside Sparrowpelt, a tail length away. "She's a brilliant hunter too." Maybe if they both become leader, we could be deputies together. Crookedpaw mewed. Deputy? What's the point of being deputy? I want to be leader. Crookedpaw looked at her in surprise, and then broke into a purr. Of course. Bluepaw jumped as Dappletail's paw flicked her ear, and then Crookedpaw's. Hush! Dappletail sounded cross. How many times do you have to be told? Sorry. Bluepaw dipped her head, and then raised her gaze obediently to the great rock once more. After the gathering, she turned to say goodbye to Crookedpaw, but he was already trotting after a large mottled warrior. He glanced over his shoulder and blinked at her before disappearing up the shadowy slope. Who was that? Snowpaw's eyes gleamed in the moonlight. Bluepaw blinked. Who? That River Clan Tommy you were talking to. Snowpaw pressed. Oh, Bluepaw understood. That was Crookedpaw. He's an apprentice. He's big enough to be a warrior. He started his training late, Bluepaw explained. Sounds like you are getting to know each other pretty well. Snowpaw's mew tingled with accusation. So? Snowpaw shrugged. You should be careful about getting friendly with cats from other clans. We were only chatting, Bluepaw promised. It's a gathering. There's a truce. We're supposed to be friendly. Not that friendly, Snowpaw snorted. From what I saw, even Sunfall couldn't shut you up. Bluepaw lashed her tail. Just because I talk to another cat doesn't mean I'm mooning over him like you do with Thistlepaw. You're just jealous. Jealous of you and Thistlepaw? No way. But Snowpaw was already away, pelt bristling, trotting after Sparrowpelt. Sunfall beckoned beneath the oak. Are you coming? Bluepaw hurried to his side. Was I being too friendly with that River Clan apprentice? You were being too nosy. Sunfall chided her gently. But is it okay to be friends with cats from other clans? Not friends, but it makes sense to get to know them. There's a lot we can learn from one another, and not just how to fight them in battle. So it was alright to talk to him? Sunfall nodded. But next time, save the talking for afterwards, please. Sorry. He was just chatty. That's all. Sunfall's whiskers twitched. He flicked her flank with his tail, shooing her towards the bottom of the slope. Come on, let's get home before our paws turn to ice. It's too bad that Bluestar fell in love with Oakheart and not Crookedstar. They could have made a really cute couple. Maybe less competitive with each other, and more goofy. This scene is also one of the first times we learn of Bluepaw's interest in becoming the leader of ThunderClan, so that's interesting. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you guys think would have been different in the story if Bluestar had fallen in love with Crookedstar instead of Oakheart. Do you think the relationship would have ended more tragically because of Crookedstar's curse? Let me know what you think down below. Hey there! Welcome back to day 2 of Bluestar. Today the scene my sister Rachel's going to be drawing is of when Bluepaw receives from Goosefeather the prophecy about her, which will be the main focus of Bluestar Special Edition. I'll read the scene to you now. It's on pages 205 through 214 of Bluestar's prophecy. Can you see it? Bluepaw whispered, concentrating on the flavors bathing her tongue. Her pelt pricked. She could smell rabbit. She could also smell blood. And the stench of fox. StarClan, help us! Snowpaw's terrified gasp sounded behind her. Across the small clearing in front of them, Bluepaw saw the fox. It stood with its bony shoulders squared, the rabbit dangling from its jaws. A fierce gust of wind shook the trees, and the forest flashed with lightning. It lit up the fox, throwing his shadow against the dark wall of snake rocks. Thunder crackled. The fox snarled and dropped the rabbit, turning its hungry gaze towards them. Run! Snowpaw's shriek sent Bluepaw pelting up the bank, with Snowpaw's white pelt flashing a tail length behind. There was no way Bluepaw was letting the fox pursue them underground, in its own territory. They hurled through the trees, ducking through brambles and swerving around the bracken. It's following us! Snowpaw's mew was a terrified whimper. Bluepaw could hear the fox thundering after them, its paws shaking the ground. She didn't dare look back. She could hear it slither on leash, only tail lengths behind, never pausing for a moment. The forest was lit up again as lightning flashed and thunder exploded overhead. Bluepaw shrieked as she felt breath on her heels and pushed faster. The stench of fox breath bathed her, and she heard its jaws snap a whisker from her tail. Up ahead, Snowpaw plunged over the ravine. It would never follow them down there. Bluepaw hurled after, relief flashing as she sent stones rattling down the rocks. A thump sounded behind her, and she glanced over her shoulder. The fox had jumped down after them, a tail length behind. StarClan, save us! Bluepaw wailed, praying her clanmates would hear and come to their rescue. Slithering down the boulder, she crashed after Snowpaw, who ducked out of her way and pelted the last length down the tumble of stones. Come on! She screeched, but Bluepaw was already half sliding, half falling down behind her. Nearly there! The camp entrance was within sight. They would be safe beyond the gorse tunnel. Panic shot afresh through Bluepaw. What if it follows us through? Lionpaw and Goldenpaw would be playing in the clearing. They would be easy prey for a fox. She had led it there. She must stop it. As Snowpaw pelted through the gorse tunnel, shrieking a warning, Bluepaw skidded to a halt and turned. The fox leaped to her, and she reared on hind legs, ready to swipe at its snarling jaws. She didn't think about being brave or risking her life. She just knew that the fox could not reach the camp. The sky flashed, and a great crack sounded tail lengths above. Bluepaw looked up. Lightning! A splintered branch fell between her and the fox and crashed onto the forest floor, alive, licking yellow flames. The fox yelped in surprise as the branch barely missed it, and it whirled around in panic and scrambled back up the ravine. Her heart pounding, Bluepaw stared at the branch. It crackled in front of her nose, the heat searing her whiskers and scalding her muzzle. Frozen with shock, she stared until teeth grabbed her scruff and tugged her back. You'll get yourself killed! Sunfall's growl brought her back to her senses as he spat out her neck fur. The gorse burial will catch light! Speckletail's panic mew sounded from behind. The clan cats were streaming from the camp, their eyes wide with horror. The branch was burning so ferociously. Bluepaw felt her pelt tingle. If the gorse caught fire, the flames would sweep through the camp, engulfing every den. StarClan, help us! Small Ear's desperate cry rose above the crackling flames. Please. Bluepaw begged silently. The storm crashed overhead and rain pelted down, driving through the canopy, pounding the bushes, thundering on the forest floor. The branch crackled and hissed as the rain doused the flames, until nothing but a charred log fizzled in front of the astonished clan. Wow! Lionpaw's excited mew broke the silence. What are you doing out here? Speckletail shooed him inside. I wanted to see it burn, he complained. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Slowly, Bluepaw realized that Sunfall was talking to her. She dragged her gaze from the branch and stared blankly at her mentor. Her heart slowed as she took a huge gulp of air. It stank of smoke and made her cough. Come on, Sunfall meowed. Let's get you to Goosefeather. I'm here. The medicine cat was standing at the entrance of the tunnel, his eyes round, the fur bristling along his spine. He seemed mesmerized by the smoke rising from the extinguished branch, and his mew sounded far away. I'll take her to the medicine cat den. Wordlessly, he escorted her to his soft, grassy clearing. As her shock eased, Bluepaw's whiskers and muzzle began to sting. She backed away when Goosefeather returned holding ointment-soaked leaves in his jaw. Will it hurt? It will soothe the pain. She held still as he gently smeared the ointment over her muzzle. His eyes seemed to be searching hers, but she couldn't figure out what he was trying to see. Will I be scarred? Goosefeather shook his head. The fur on your nose is just singed, he reassured her. It'll grow back in a moon. Then why were his eyes glittering with worry? Maybe I'm imagining it. Suddenly, Goosefeather leaned in closer. Like fire, you will blaze through the forest. What? Bluepaw flinched away. Had he gone mad? The burning branch was a sign from StarClan. His eyes glittered. You are fire, Bluepaw! You will blaze through the forest! Alarmed, Bluepaw backed away. What was he talking about? But beware. She stiffened. Even the most powerful flames can be destroyed by water. What do you mean? I'm telling you what the burning branch meant, he growled. Just then, Snowpaw came bounding in. You were so brave! Snowpaw mewed. Her tail was flicking excitedly as she circled Bluepaw. I couldn't believe it when I ran into camp and you weren't with me. I thought that the fox had got you. But when I came out again and you were facing it, and then the branch fell down and you didn't move, you looked like a real warrior. Hush! Ouch! Both of you! Goosefeather ordered briskly. It was as though he hadn't mentioned a prophecy at all. Bluepaw wondered if she'd imagined it, or if he was just playing a joke on her. She turned and followed Snowpaw from the den. As she padded down the fern tunnel, a voice sounded in her ears. You are fire, Bluepaw. fear water. She whipped around to see if Goosefeather was following her, but his speckled gray back was just visible at the far side of the clearing, as he checked on Weed Whisker. Spooked, Bluepaw hurried to catch up with Snowpaw. You are fire. You will blaze through the forest? Did that mean that one day she would lead ThunderClan? That water could destroy her? How could water destroy her? She wasn't a RiverClan cat. She would never go near water, apart from jumping across the smallest stream. Are you okay? Snowpaw's concerned mew broke into her thoughts. Did Goosefeather give you anything for the shock? Bluepaw shook her head. Something's bothering you. Bluepaw scanned the camp, looking for a quiet corner where they could talk. Perhaps Snowpaw could help her make sense of Goosefeather's words. Come with me. She led Snowpaw to the nursery and slipped behind it. What is it? Why are we hiding? I wanted to ask you about something. Bluepaw wondered how she could tell Snowpaw about the prophecy when she wasn't even sure of it herself. What? Bluepaw searched for the right words. Do you think? This is impossible. Do you think I'm special? Well, of course! You're the best sister in the world! That's not what I meant. What else could you mean? Is there something wrong with you? Did Goosefeather find out something when he checked your burns? Goosefeather said that the burning branch was a sign. A sign? From StarClan? Uh-huh. What did it mean? What did he tell you? Does Pinestar know? Snowpaw blasted her with questions. He said that I would blaze through the forest like fire. He's mad as a hare. But what if he's right? Do you think it means I stand out somehow? I don't even know what that means. And you know what his prophecies are like. It was his stupid prophecy that killed Moonflower. You don't actually believe him, do you? He also said that water would destroy me. He's got no right to scare you like that. How dare he? Don't take any notice. His prophecies are worthless. You won't be destroyed by water. You're not a RiverClan cat. How could water harm you? Don't listen to a word of it. Shocked, Bluepaw stared at her sister. Was it really so impossible to believe that she was special? What's wrong with believing that one day she might lead the clan? Snowpaw seemed eager enough to hear the prophecy until she found out that it involved Bluepaw. You don't believe it then? Goosefeather's an idiot. Take no notice. Don't let it worry you. Worry me? Why couldn't she see? If this prophecy is true, it might be the most important thing that's ever happened to me. Crazy, huh? That was an intense prophecy. She will blaze through the forest, but must avoid water, because water will be her destruction. Looking through Bluestar's life, we can kind of see how the prophecy played out. She blazed ahead, becoming leader of ThunderClan, but water, in the form of a handsome RiverClan cat, almost destroyed her future of becoming leader when she fell in love with Oakheart and had his kits. Although she overcame that and sacrificed them for her clan, water still led to her destruction. But we'll cover that in later Speedpaints. Unlike with Sunstar and his prophecy of being leader, Goosefeather actually revealed the prophecy to Bluepaw, making her sort of paranoid about actual water for the rest of her life, because she didn't realize that the water warning meant Oakheart. Do you think Bluestar ever fully understood her prophecy during her life? If you were given such a prophecy, what would you do with it? Live your life with the prophecy always in your mind and try to follow its instructions? Like to avoid water? Or would you just try to forget it and live your life? G'day, Warrior fans! Welcome back to day 3 of focusing on Bluestar. The scene my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of an embarrassed Bluefur yelling at Oakheart after she almost drowns in an inch of water. It's a really cute scene, and I'll read it to you now. It's on pages 335 through 338 of Bluestar's prophecy. Bluefur wandered through the grassy glade and pushed her way past a wall of ferns. She was thirsty, and the river was burbling nearby. The bushes were still lush, and this part of the forest was sheltered from the chilly nights and cold breezes. The river had risen since the height of Greenleaf, splashing over stones and lapping at the shore, its chatter harmonizing with the soft rustle of the forest. Bluefur peered through a bush down the leaf-strewn bank. A reddish-brown pelt moved in its shadows. Fox? She tasted the air warily. Stiffening, she recognized the tang of RiverClan. She stared in astonishment as Oakheart padded out on the ThunderClan side of the river, barely 3 tail lengths from Bluefur. He shook himself like a dog, and then stretched out on the smooth stone, sloping up from the water. The sun glistened on his sleek pelt, which clung darkly to his well-muscled frame. He was going to sleep! On ThunderClan territory! Bluefur tensed, ready to spring out and confront the trespasser. Then she paused. He looked so peaceful. Caught in the moment, she found herself watching his flank rising and falling. What am I doing? She plunged through the bushes and skidded to a halt behind him, sending small stones rattling down to the water. Get out! Oakheart lifted his head and glanced over his shoulder. Bluefur! He could at least act guilty. She'd caught him on ThunderClan territory. Just because you took Sunny Rocks doesn't mean that you can help yourself to any piece of territory you want. Her pelt sparked with fury. Sorry. Oakheart got to his paws. I couldn't resist such a sunny spot. You couldn't resist? Rage choked her. You arrogant furball! Without thinking, she launched herself at him, claws swiping at his face. He ducked, and she missed. Bluefur stopped with her paws dug into the stones to stop her from falling over. Were his whiskers twitching? I'll teach him! She twisted and sharply nipped his hind leg. Ow! Oakheart hopped out of the way and swung his broad head towards her, catching her shoulder as she reared up for another lunge. While she was scrabbling in the air, Bluefur's hind paws kicked out on the stones. She lost her balance and flopped ungracefully into the river. As the water drenched her pelt, panic shot through her. I'm drowning! Help me! But Oakheart stayed on the bank, his eyes bright with amusement. Try standing up, he suggested calmly. Bluefur thrust her paws downwards, expecting them to vanish underwater. Instead, her feet stubbed against the round stones at the bottom of the river. She stood up, surprised to find the water barely lapping at her belly fur. Hot with embarrassment, she stalked onto the bank and shook herself, making sure Oakheart felt the spray. How was I supposed to know it was that shallow? She snapped. ThunderClan cats don't have to get wet to catch our prey. Oakheart shrugged. Sorry you got a bit damp. His gaze flitted over her pelt. I was just defending myself. His feeble apology only made Bluefur angrier. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you shut up and get off of my territory? He tipped his head to one side. Oh, it seems a shame to leave at the start of such a promising friendship. Friendship? You better leave now or I'll give you a scar you won't forget, Bluefur growled. Oakheart dipped his head, his gaze holding hers for an instant, and then padded into the shallows and swam sleekly across the river. Bluefur watched him as he slipped onto the bank on the other side, water dripping from his thick pelt. Before he disappeared into the trees, he looked back at her, his eyes gleaming. I won't forget you, scar or no scar. Bluefur didn't dignify his dumb comment with a reply. Mouse brain. Wet and cross, she stamped up the bank and headed into the trees. Oakheart is so funny, and he's quite charming with his witty comments back to Bluefur. No wonder she fell for him. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think about Oakheart and Bluestar. What do you think was the reasoning behind them becoming a couple? Did they have things in common, or is it more of an opposites attract sort of thing? Let me know what you think down below. Hola Bluestar lovers! Welcome back to day 4 of our wondrous Blue Bay. Wow, the week is flying by! Luckily, we get 14 days of Bluestar instead of the usual 7, so don't fret, we'll be seeing a lot more of her in the days to come. The scene my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is a rather embarrassing one. Bluefur is cuddling up to her boy Oakheart at Fourtrees when she glances up at the Great Rock and sees her mother and her sister sadly watching her make one of the biggest mistakes of her life. I'll read you the scene now. It's on pages 429 through 438 of Bluestar's prophecy. She darted out from the leaves and clambered over a rock, slipping down behind it, her breath coming fast. She couldn't believe what she was doing, betraying everything that had once been important to her. She was a traitor, and not just to herself, to her clan, to the warrior code. Her heart pounded. What was she doing? She had to go back. Peering over the rock, she saw Adderfang returning to his post. There was no way she could retrace her steps now without being seen. She had to go on. Silently, swiftly, she raced along the ravine and bounded up the rocks, careful not to disturb any loose stones. The moon lit her way as she scrambled over the top and sneaked into the forest. Keeping to the trails used by the clan to go to the gathering, Bluefur hurried through the forest. Moonlight shone through the bare branches, making the forest floor glow. Had he waited? Her heart rose into her throat when she reached the edge of the hollow. Below her, Fourtrees stood eerily silent, casting thick, black shadows across the clearing. If Bluefur kept going, she would change the course of her life. She knew it with such intensity that her paws seemed to freeze. For a moment, she sensed the spirit of Snowfur. Her sister's scent drifted in the air, as birch smooth fur wreathed around her pelt. Snowfur was trying to tell her something. What is it? Frustration surged through Bluefur's pelt. Was Snowfur trying to stop her? Or was she giving her a blessing? I have to do this, Bluefur whispered. Please understand. It doesn't mean that I don't love you, or that I'm not loyal to my clan. She shook herself, letting the cold night air pierce her fur and chase away the sense of her sister. Then she stepped over the crest and headed down the slope into the moon-bathed hollow. He waited! Bluefur's heart quickened as she saw Oakhart silhouetted in the moonlight. He sat gazing at the great rock, eyes shining. Leaves crunched under Bluefur's paws as she approached him, echoing in the hollow. He whipped around. You came! She could smell his scent now. She opened her mouth, but she couldn't think of what to say. I thought maybe you weren't going to. He seemed to run out of words and stared at her instead. Such softness in his eyes. I couldn't get away. But you did. Yes. Silence. Is that it? Bluefur felt panic rising inside of her. She shouldn't have come. This was a big mistake. Beneath their feet, the grass was sparkling with frost. Were they going to stand here like mouse brains searching for words till their paws first to the ground? And then Bluefur teaches Oakhart how to climb trees, and it's a really cute scene. But I'll save that for Oakhart's speed paints. I'll skip ahead a few pages to the scene where we're drawing now. Oakhart sighed. I've waited so many moons for this. He twisted his head and looked into her eyes. For you. Bluefur dropped her gaze to her paws, suddenly feeling very self-conscious. Oakhart nuzzled her and she looked up at him. Every cat in my clan has been telling me to get a mate. But I want no other mate than you. I know what you mean. Larksong told me I should pair off with... She stopped, seeing hurt spark in his gaze. Is there any other cat who... No, only... Only what? I've been raising Snowfur's kid. I haven't had time to think about mates. And you've done a great job. Your sister would be proud of you. But Whitestorm's a warrior now. You've got time to live your own life. Maybe, but this can never happen. What? Us. Why? Bluefur couldn't believe it. Wasn't it obvious? We're from different clans. And I have a destiny that doesn't leave room for a mate. Pain twisted in her heart. She tried to push it away, but it hung there like grief, cold and heavy. She pressed closer to Oakhart, his warmth easing her sadness. If we carry on meeting like this, we'll end up getting hurt. The only thing that can hurt me is being apart from you. Bluefur knew it was true, for her and him. But she couldn't change her destiny. She stared up at the great rock, glittering with frost. The clan leaders would be horrified if they could see what was happening. Two figures gazed down from the top. Moonflower and Snowfur? Bluefur felt every hair on her pelt rise. Oakhart stirred beside her. What is it? Bluefur stared at her mother and sister. There was such sadness in their expressions. As they sat watching, neither moving nor speaking. I know why you're here, she thought. They'd come to remind her where her true loyalties lay. If she was going to fulfill the mysterious fire and water prophecy, then she had to be as strong as fire, and loyal only to her clanmates. What are you staring at? Oakhart pressed. Bluefur blinked, and the starry shapes on the great rock vanished. Nothing. She turned to Oakhart. Let's stay the night here. Just one night, she begged her mother and sister. I promise after this, I'll devote the rest of my life to my clan. She glanced up at the rock. No one was there, and the moon shone in the clear, bright sky. Let's build a nest, Oakhart suggested. They scraped together a heap of leaves beneath one of the roots of the oak tree and curled up together in the frost-scented darkness. She just wanted to live her life for one night, not having to worry about her prophecy or the clan. But selfish acts always have consequences. And Moonflower and Snowfur knew that. Meeting Oakhart at Fourtrees resulted in her having to make huge sacrifices. that would haunt her for the rest of her life. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you guys think about this scene from the book, of Moonflower and Snowfur gazing sadly down at Bluefur, knowing that the choice she was making would lead to so much sadness in her future, but also knowing that it was Bluefur's choice to make, and that they could do nothing to stop her. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to go and check out the video over on the side of my last speed paint, and click that subscribe button so you can always be notified when I make my next video. Alright guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon with the next speed paint. Bye-bye! Hey there, welcome back to day 5 of Bluestar. A lot has progressed since our last speed paint. Bluefur is now expecting that she just gave up her chance of becoming ThunderClan's future leader. A queen was never something Bluefur imagined herself being when she pictured how her life would play out. However, life has a way of throwing curves at you. Was that an unintended pregnancy pun? I guess it was. So now the clan believes that Bluefur is expecting Thrushpelt's kits, which is a little fishy seeing that they're not mates. But since Blue X Thrush is Rosetail's OTP, and Thrushpelt agrees to go along with it, the clan buys it. I'll read to you now the scene where Bluefur breaks the news to her baby daddy Oakhart. And breaks his heart. It's on pages 452 through 454 of Bluestar's prophecy. Bluefur looked at her paws. She couldn't just come out with it. She hadn't seen him in a moon. How would he react? Your brother didn't make you deputy? No, but I thought you wanted to be leader one day. He offered, I refused. I haven't earned it yet, but I will. Oakhart glanced over his shoulder. We don't have long. What's the matter? Are you disappointed about not being deputy? Bluefur! Crookedstar is about to send a patrol. Oh, okay. I'm going to have kits. Oakhart's eyes widened like an owl's. Bluefur waited for him to say something, while the forest whirled around her and the ground swayed beneath her paws. It'll be all right. He pressed against her, his wet fur icy on her pelt. Our kits will be great. Brave and strong and clever, good at swimming and climbing trees. Bluefur flinched. He was completely missing the point. We're in different clans, she reminded him. That's a problem, but you can join RiverClan, or I can join ThunderClan. It's been done before. Has it? There's a cat in your clan, Windflight, whose father was WindClan. Didn't you know about that? No cat had ever mentioned it. Are you sure? Uh-huh. So why does no one talk about it? I don't know. Bluefur knew why. Because if it's true, they're all too ashamed. The ThunderClan cats who let Windflight be raised in their camp, the WindClan cats who didn't claim them as their own, they'd rather forget it. Do you want our kids to grow up like that? But if I joined ThunderClan, they'd be ThunderClan kits. You'd do that for me? For you and our kids? In a heartbeat. But you want to become leader one day. You could never do that in ThunderClan. You'd always be an outsider. Oakhart lowered his gaze. There are plenty of cats in RiverClan who want to be leader. But you could do it! Bluefur felt wretched. She couldn't let him give up his dream. You can't leave your clan. Then, will you leave yours and come and live with RiverClan? I can't! If you're worried about swimming, I'll teach you, like I promised. It's not that. Bluefur thought of Thistleclaw, ambition burning in his eyes, and Goosefeather's words. Blood lies in his path. Fire lies in yours. My clan needs me. I need you too. Bluefur slowly shook her head. No, you don't. I'm going to raise these kids as ThunderClan. My clan will assume that a ThunderClan cat is their father. Oakhart drew away sharply. Any cat in particular? No! This is the only way it can be! Don't you see that? To give our kids the best chance! I must raise them as if they were pure ThunderClan! What about me? It's my problem! She growled, turning to leave. I'm the one having these kits. I'll be the one raising them without a father! They can have a father if you want. Bluefur felt something move in her belly. The kits were starting to fidget. Did they know what was going on? I'll make it okay. She promised as she headed up the bank. I'll be here if you need me, Oakhart called up after her. I love you, Bluefur. Whatever happens, they're always my kits too. I was so sad when I read this scene. Oakhart was willing to give up everything. his whole life in RiverClan to be with her and the kids. She should have just let him do it. He was never going to become leader. He'd have to, with his one life, outlive his brother Crookedstar, who now has 9 lives. And also outlive the current deputy that Crookedstar just appointed. So I don't get Bluefar's logic there. Sure, he would have made a great leader, but his brother was already doing a fine job with RiverClan. Why would he want Crookedstar to die, just so that he could succeed him and have a chance at being leader? Is it really worth it? So, in this moment, she decides that she's keeping the kids and raising them in ThunderClan. And she's given in to the idea of being a queen, and accepts her fate. But, almost immediately after giving birth, she changes her mind again. But that'll be the scene for next time. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you guys think. Do you agree that if she'd allowed Oakheart to join ThunderClan, that she could have had the best of both worlds? Having her mate to help out with the kids, while she served as clan deputy. I'm sure Sunstar would have understood. Toms who are deputy have kids while they're serving? And I'm sure Wide-Eye would have been more than willing to let Mosskit, Mystikit, and Stonekit nurse alongside Mousekit and Running Kit. And then Mosskit wouldn't have died. Let me know what you think down below. Hey everybody, Lillie here. Welcome back to day 6 of Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is the moment that Bluefur realizes that she must give up her 3 precious kits so that she can prevent Thistleclaw from becoming clan deputy. I'll read the scene to you now. It's on pages 471 through 472 of Bluestar's prophecy. Featherwhisker wove his way through the drifts from the fallen tree, the branches dropping snow on his pelt. Is that fresh kill? He stared, disappointed at the half-chewed sparrow. The elders are starving. They can have a bite of this, Wide-Eye offered. Featherwhisker shook his head. What about Tawny Spots? Bluefur suggested. He needs to keep his strength up. The ThunderClan deputy no longer even left the Medicine Cat clearing to use the dirt place. She picked up the sparrow, ready to take it to him. Featherwhisker stopped her with a paw. He won't eat it. He hasn't been able to keep anything down for days. Bluefur froze. Is he dying? Featherwhisker steadily met her gaze. He's not getting any better. Bluefur hardly heard him. She was staring at Thistleclaw. The dark brown warrior was watching Featherwhisker with pricked ears. His eyes gleamed. Bluefur blinked. Thistleclaw's spiky pelt was glistening. Was he wet? Something dark and sticky was flowing down his pelt. Blood! Thistleclaw was drenched in blood. It oozed from his fur and dripped from his whiskers, staining the snow around him scarlet. Horrified, Bluefur backed away. What is it? Featherwhisker mewed. Bluefur? When she felt the Medicine Cat's tail touch her shoulder, Bluefur blinked and the blood disappeared. Thistleclaw was glaring at her, his tabby pelt once more brown and tufty. She caught Goosefeather's eye, and he nodded. He'd seen it too. A vision of ThunderClan's path if Thistleclaw was to lead them. Shaking, Bluefur stared at her kits. How could I give you up? I'm hungry, Mystikit complained, trotting up with her tail sticking out. Let's go inside. The word stuck in Bluefur's throat. I have no choice. I have to save my clan. Bluefur knew that if Thistleclaw was to become deputy, that he would lead ThunderClan into countless unnecessary battles, and that he would lead them to their destruction. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below about what you think about Bluestar's choice that she makes in this moment. Was it the right decision to give up her kits so that she could become ThunderClan's deputy? Could she have made a different choice? What do you think would have been the results of keeping her kits? Let me know what you think down below. Hey everybody, welcome back to... Wait, wasn't day 6 of Speedpaints already uploaded? Yep, it was! This is a bonus scene of Bluestar. Rachel drew this scene a year or so ago, before we did the cool voiceover stories behind the Speedpaints, and I thought it might be cool to tell the story of this scene. So, here we go. This super sad scene takes place in Bluestar's prophecy, on pages 483 through 484. I'll read it to you now. Mosskit? The gray and white kit wasn't fidgeting. Bluefur lapped at her pelt again. Mosskit? Panic started to grip her. She stared at the little bundle of fur, looking for the rise of her flank, a puff of frozen breath. The kit was perfectly still. Bluefur licked harder. Mosskit, please wake up! Please! There's warmth and safety just on the other side of the river. Your father will look after you. I promise! Just a little bit further, my tiny brave daughter. Bluefur stopped licking and looked down at the small, snow-damp body. Wake up! Bluefur. Snowfur's breath stirred her whiskers. Bluefur smelled the scent of her sister drifting around the walls of the snow hole. Let her go. I'll look after her. No, don't take her! Please! She's already gone. There's nothing you can do. Bluefur gathered Mosskit between her paws. She wasn't supposed to die. It was her time. Snowfur's mew echoed in her ears. I'll take care of her in StarClan. Snowfur's scent faded, and the icy tang of Leaf Bear filled the snow hole once more. Mosskit didn't move. Isn't that sad? But I suppose, like Snowfur said, it was Mosskit's time. However, it's always hard to imagine why it should be a kid's time to die. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think the saddest kit death in Warriors is. I think Mosskit ranks pretty high on that list, but there may be some others. Let me know what you think down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to go and check out the video over on the side of my last speed paint, and click that subscribe button so you can always be notified when I make my next video. Alright guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon with the next speed paint. Bye-bye! Hey Warriors fans, welcome back to day 7 of Bluestar. This is the last scene we're going to be doing from Bluestar's Prophecy. The next speed paint you see will be from the original saga. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluefur sadly alerting the clan that her kids are now missing, when she really knows that 2 of them are now in RiverClan with their father, and the other is in StarClan with her sister and mother. I'll read that scene to you now. It's on page 487 of Bluestar's Prophecy. She limped back to camp. There was one more thing she had to do. One more lie to tell my clanmates. She slipped in through the dirt place tunnel and quietly clawed a fox-sized hole in the back of the nursery. Then she squeezed through the den entrance, checked that Wide-Eye, Mosskit, and Running Kit were asleep, climbed into her nest, and deliberately, loudly called an alarm to her clan. My kids! My kids are gone! She had to sacrifice her kits to lead her clan. She became Sunstar's deputy just 1 moon after she gave away her kits. And just in time, because the current deputy, Tawny Spots, died soon after. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below if you think Bluefur made the right choice. Do you think Goosefeather was right? That kits were never supposed to be a part of her destiny? What did Bluestar learn from her sacrifice? And how do you think it made her a better leader? Let me know what you think down below. Hi there, welcome back to the bonus speed paint for day 7 of Bluestar. This is a scene that Rachel drew back in January before we did the cool voiceovers telling the stories of the drawing. So I thought it might be fun to throw this one back out with its story reading behind it, just to add a bit of context to the rest of Bluestar's following days. Because tomorrow we're jumping ahead quite a few books. So the scene my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of when Bluestar is attacked by the rats, just outside Barley's barn and Into the Wild. I'll read this part to you now. It's on page 185 through 190 of Into the Wild. The cats padded along the edge of the ditch. Firepaw looked down the deep gully, steep-sided and filled with some nettles. Firepaw could smell prey scent. There was something familiar about the bitter odor, but it was one he hadn't smelled for a long time. An ear-splitting squeal made Firepaw whip around, and Ravenpaw was struggling and clawing at the earth. Something had a hold of his leg and was dragging him down into the ditch. Rats! Spat Tigerclaw. Barley has sent us into a trap! Before they could react, all 5 cats were surrounded. Huge brown rats swarmed out of the ditch, squeaking shrilly. Firepaw could see their sharp front teeth glinting in the early dawn light. Suddenly, one leaped onto Firepaw's shoulder. Fiery pain shot through his shoulder as the rat sank its teeth into his flesh. Another grasped his leg between its powerful jaws. Firepaw flung himself down and writhed madly, trying to shake free. He knew that the rats were not as strong as he was, but there were so many of them. Yowls, hisses, and spits told him that the others were also being attacked. Firepaw slashed fiercely with his claws, slicing out at a rat that held onto his leg. It let go, but another one gripped at his tail. Fast as lightning, powered by fear and rage, Firepaw fought and hackled at his attackers. Twisting his head around, he sank his teeth into the rat that had embedded itself onto his shoulders. He felt the bones of its neck crunch in his mouth, and its body went limp before it fell away onto the dirt track. Firepaw gasped in pain as yet another rat leaped onto his back and sank its teeth in. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a flash of white fur. For a moment, he was confused, and then he felt the rat being dragged off of him. Firepaw spun around to see Barley flinging a rodent into the ditch. Without hesitating, Barley glanced around and sprinted over to Bluestar, where she was writhing in pain, covered in rats. In a flash, Barley had the spine of one between his teeth and was plucking it off her with practiced ease. He spat it onto the ground and grabbed another in his mouth as Bluestar thrashed beneath him. Firepaw rushed over to Greypaw, who was being attacked from both sides by two smaller rats. Firepaw lunged at the nearest one, giving it a bite that left it dead. Greypaw managed to turn and pin down the others with his claws. He grabbed it with his teeth and flung it down the ditch as hard as he could. It did not come back. "They're running away!" Tigerclaw yelled. Sure enough, the remaining rats were fleeing down into the safety of the ditch. Firepaw could hear the scrabbling of small paws disappearing into the nettles. The bites in his shoulder and hind legs stung sharply. He looked carefully at his fur, wet and matted with blood, its sharp tang mingling with the stench of the rats. Firepaw looked around for Ravenpaw. Greypaw was standing at the edge of the nettles, mewing encouragement as Ravenpaw pulled himself out of the ditch, muddy and stung. A young rat was still hanging onto his tail. Firepaw bounded over and finished it off quickly while Greypaw helped pull Ravenpaw over the top side of the ditch. Now Firepaw looked for Bluestar. He saw Barley first, standing at the top of the ditch, scanning the depths for more rats. Bluestar was lying on the path nearby. Alarmed, Firepaw dashed to his leader's side. The thick gray fur at the back of her neck was drenched with blood. "Bluestar?" he mewed. Bluestar did not reply. A furious yowl made Firepaw look up. Tigerclaw leaped on top of Barley and pinned him to the ground. "You sent us into a trap! I didn't know the rats were here!" spat Barley, his paws scrabbling in the dust as he struggled to stand. "Why did you send us this way?" hissed Tigerclaw. "The dogs!" "The dogs were tied up when we passed them earlier. The two-leg unties them at night. They guard his nest." Barley panted, wheezing under the weight of Tigerclaw's massive paws. "Tigerclaw, Bluestar's injured!" Firepaw burst out. Tigerclaw released Barley at once. Barley got up and shook the dust from his coat. The great warrior bounded over to Bluestar's side and sniffed at her wounds. "Is there anything we can do?" Firepaw asked. "She's in the hands of StarClan now," mewed Tigerclaw, solemnly stepping back. Firepaw opened his eyes wide with shock. Did Tigerclaw mean that Bluestar was dead? His fur prickled as he looked down at his leader. Is this what the spirits at Moonstone had warned her about? Greypaw and Ravenpaw had joined them and stood beside their leader, horror-struck. Barley hung back, craning his neck to see what was happening. Bluestar's eyes were open, but glazed, and her gray body lay motionless. She didn't even appear to be breathing. "Is she dead?" whispered Ravenpaw. "I don't know. We must wait and see," replied Tigerclaw. The 5 cats waited in silence as the sun began to climb into the sky. Firepaw found himself wordlessly begging StarClan to protect his leader and send her back to them. Then Bluestar stirred. The end of her tail twitched and she lifted her head. "Bluestar?" mewed Firepaw, his voice trembling. "It's all right," Bluestar rasped. "I'm still here. I have lost a life, but it wasn't my 9th. Joy flooded Firepaw. He looked at Tigerclaw, expecting to see relief on his face. But the Dark Warrior was expressionless. "Right," Tigerclaw meowed in a commanding tone. "Ravenpaw, fetch cobwebs for Bluestar's wounds. Greypaw, find Marigold or Horsetail." The 2 apprentices dashed away. "Barley, I think you should leave us now." Firepaw looked over to the loner who had fought so bravely to help him. He wanted to thank him, but under Tigerclaw's fierce gaze, he didn't dare. Instead of speaking, Firepaw gave Barley a tiny nod. Barley seemed to understand, for he nodded in return and left without another word. Bluestar was still lying on the dirt track. "Is everyone all right?" Tigerclaw nodded. Ravenpaw came charging back, his left forepaw wrapped in a thick wad of cobwebs. "Here," he mewed. Shall I put them on her wounds?" Firepaw asked Tigerclaw. "Yellowfang showed me how." "Very well," agreed Tigerclaw. He walked away and scanned the ditch again, his ears pricked for more rats. Firepaw peeled a clump of cobwebs from Ravenpaw's paw and began to press them firmly onto Bluestar's wounds. She winced under his touch. "If it had not been for Tigerclaw, those rats would have eaten me alive," she muttered, her voice tight with pain. "It wasn't Tigerclaw who saved you. It was Barley," Firepaw whispered as he took some more cobwebs from Ravenpaw. Greypaw returned with some horsetail. Firepaw chewed the leaves and spat the juice onto Bluestar's wounds. He knew it would help stop infection, but still he wished Spottedleaf were with him, with her knowledge of and confidence in healing. "We should rest here while Bluestar recovers," announced Tigerclaw, padding up. "No," Bluestar insisted. "We must return to camp." Narrowing her eyes in pain, she struggled to her paws. Let's keep going. The ThunderClan leader limped along the edge of the field. Tigerclaw walked at her side, his face dark with unknowable thoughts. It's been a long time since I've seen you lose a life, Bluestar. How many have you lost now? Firepaw couldn't help feeling surprised at Tigerclaw's open curiosity. That was my 5th, replied Bluestar quietly. Firepaw strained his ears, but Tigerclaw did not reply. He padded on, lost in thought. Crazy, right? Tigerclaw basically left Bluestar to the rats. And if Barley had not saved her, then the rats may have claimed all of her remaining lives. Tigerclaw's curiosity at the end of this scene, about how many remaining lives Bluestar has, is very suspicious. As we the readers know, she only has 2 lives remaining, but she lied to Tigerclaw so that he would not be able to use the information against her. By, say, killing her until she has no lives remaining? Well, we'll pick back up with this tomorrow. Until then, I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think about this scene. Bluestar honestly thought Tigerclaw had been the one that saved her. Do you think if she knew the truth that Tigerclaw had basically left her to die, that she would have later that day appointed him as her deputy? Following the sudden death of Lionheart? I don't think so. But let me know what you think down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to go and check out the video over on the side of my last speed paint. And click that subscribe button so you can always be notified when I make my next video. Alright guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon with the next speed paint. Bye-bye! Hey everybody, welcome back to day 8 of Bluestar. Today we'll be zooming forward a few books to the 3rd book of the first saga, Forest of Secrets. The scene my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Tigerclaw's murder attempt on Bluestar, at which he fails to actually take her lives, but this attack leaves Bluestar's mind in ruins. I'll read this scene to you now. It's on page 273 through 277 of Forest of Secrets. Tigerclaw? What are you doing? Remember me to StarClan, Bluestar. Tigerclaw? What is this? I am the leader of your clan. Or have you forgotten that? Not for much longer, Tigerclaw growled. I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to kill you again, as many times as it takes for you to join StarClan forever. It's time for me to lead this clan. Bluestar's answering protest was suddenly cut short by the sound of paws thudding against the hard floor of the den, followed by dreadful snarling. Fireheart sprang forward and burst through the curtain of lichen. Tigerclaw and Bluestar were writhing on the floor of the den. Bluestar's claws scored again and again across Tigerclaw's shoulder, but the deputy's greater weight kept her pinned down on the soft sand. Tigerclaw's fangs were buried into her throat, and his powerful claws raked her back. Traitor! Fireheart yelled. He flung himself at Tigerclaw, slashing at his eyes. The deputy reared back, forced to release his grip on Bluestar's throat. Fireheart felt his claws rip down the deputy's ear, spraying blood into the air. Bluestar scrambled to the side of the den, looking half stunned. Fireheart could not tell how badly hurt she was. Pain lanced through him as Tigerclaw gashed his side with a blow from his powerful hind paws. Fireheart's paws skidded in the sand, and he lost his balance, hitting the ground with Tigerclaw on top of him. The deputy's amber eyes blazed into his. I'll fillet you, Fireheart. I've waited a long time for this. Fireheart summoned every scrap of skill and strength he possessed. He knew Tigerclaw could kill him, but in spite of that, he felt strangely free. The lies and need for deceit were over. The secrets, Bluestar's and Tigerclaw's, were all out in the open. There was only the clean danger of battle. He aimed a blow at Tigerclaw's throat, but the deputy swung his head to one side, and Fireheart's claws scraped harmlessly through the thick tabby's fur. The blow had loosened Tigerclaw's grip on him. Fireheart rolled away, narrowly avoiding a killing bite to his neck. Kitty pet, Tigerclaw taunted, flexing his haunches to pounce again. Come and find out how a real warrior fights. He threw himself at Fireheart, but at the last moment Fireheart darted aside. As Tigerclaw tried to turn in the narrow den, his paw slipped on a splash of blood, and he crashed awkwardly onto one side. At once Fireheart saw his chance. His claws sliced down to open a gash in Tigerclaw's belly. Blood welled up, soaking into the deputy's fur. He let out a high-pitched caterwaul. Fireheart pounced on him, breaking his claws into his belly again, fastening his teeth into Tigerclaw's neck. The deputy struggled vainly to free himself, his thrashing growing weaker as the blood flowed. Fireheart let go of his neck, planting one paw on Tigerclaw's outstretched foreleg, and the other on his chest. Bluestar, help me hold him down! Bluestar was crouching behind him in her moss-lined nest. Blood trickled down from her forehead, but that did not alarm Fireheart as much as the look in her eyes. They were a vague, cloudy blue, and she stared horror-struck in front of her, as if she was witnessing the destruction of everything she'd ever worked for. When Fireheart spoke, she jumped suddenly like a cat woken up from sleep. Moving with dreamlike slowness, she crossed the den and pinned herself against Tigerclaw's hindquarters, trapping him. Even with wounds that would have stunned a lesser cat, Tigerclaw still fought to free himself. His amber eyes burned with hatred as he spat curses at Fireheart and Bluestar. A shadow fell across the entrance to the den, and Fireheart heard hoarse, ragged breathing. He turned his head expecting to see one of the invaders, but it was Graystripe. Dismay flooded over Fireheart at the sight of his friend. He was bleeding heavily from his flank and one foreleg. Blood bubbled from his mouth as he stammered. "Bluestar, we—" He broke off, staring. "Fireheart? What's happening?" "Tigerclaw attacked Bluestar," Fireheart told him quickly. "We were right all along. He's a traitor. He brought the rogues to attack us." Graystripe went on staring, and then he shook himself as if he had just climbed out of deep water. "You're losing this fight. There are too many of them, Bluestar. We need your help." The leader looked at him, but did not reply. Fireheart could see her eyes were still dull and unseeing, as if the discovery of the truth about Tigerclaw had bruised her spirit beyond repair. Bluestar had trusted Tigerclaw, enough to make him her deputy, and she dismissed many warnings about him from Fireheart. Bluestar's mind is thrown into a fog after this attack. She can't believe that she wasn't able to see through Tigerclaw's act, and that she didn't listen to the one cat who did, Fireheart. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below how you would react if you were Bluestar, and your deputy, the person you should trust the very most, totally betrays you and tries to steal the leadership from you by, killing you? Dang, I would be shook too. I'd be like, nope, never trusting anyone again. I am done. Let me know what you would do in that situation, down below. Hey there, welcome back to day 9 of Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluestar bitterly declaring war on StarClan, after ThunderClan's territory was burnt to the ground. I'll read this scene to you now. It's on pages 289 through 291 of Rising Storm. The clan paused on the shore and stared in silent horror at the forest. Even in the faint moonlight, the devastation was obvious. The trees stripped bare, the musty fragrances of the leaves and ferns replaced by the bitter stench of burned wood and scorched earth. "It's like being somewhere else," whispered Sandstorm, and Fireheart nodded in agreement. The ravine lay like an open wound on the landscape. Sandstorm stopped and peered over the edge, and Fireheart could see her trembling. He was shivering too, even though his fur had already dried from the river crossing. The clan filed slowly down the steep slope and followed Bluestar into the camp. Inside the clearing, the cats gazed silently around the stripped, blackened space that had once been their home. "Take me to Yellowfang's body!" Bluestar meowed sharply at Fireheart, cracking the silence. Fireheart's fur bristled. This wasn't the weak shell of a leader that he had struggled to protect in recent moons, nor was it the wise and gentle leader who had welcomed him into the clan and had been his mentor. He began to pad towards Yellowfang's clearing, and Bluestar followed. A chilling wail echoed from Yellowfang's den, and Bluestar staggered out, twisting her head wildly and glaring at the blackened trees. How could StarClan do this? Have they no pity? I will never go to the Moonstone again. From now on, my dreams are my own. StarClan has declared war on my clan, and I will never forgive them. And Bluestar pretty much stays true to her promise of not forgiving StarClan. And her departure from StarClan leads ThunderClan down a dangerous path. Get my pun? Because that's the next book. Anyways, I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think about Bluestar declaring war on StarClan. Was it justified for her to stop listening to her starry ancestors? Or was it just her trying to find someone to blame for the terribleness of the situation? Let me know what you think down below. Hello and welcome back to day 10 of Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluestar in the depth of her insanity, with her chewing out Fireheart for avoiding an unnecessary battle with WindClan. I'll read this scene to you now. It's on page 167 through 169 of A Dangerous Path. Fireheart. Her voice was quiet. Fireheart would have been less afraid if she'd yelled at him. Tallstar couldn't have picked a more convenient time to talk about the prey theft than if StarClan had told him themselves. That was your doing, wasn't it? You were the only cat that knew that I was planning to attack Wind Clan. Only you could have betrayed us. She sounded as if her mind was clearer than had been for some time, as if the instinct had sharpened her senses on the moor, that had settled into hard certainty. She was behaving like the noble leader he had once respected, giving Fireheart even more of an agonizing sense of what they had lost. He still believed that he had not betrayed the clan. He had given away the advantage of surprise. Because Tallstar had been wise enough to realize the battle must be close. Would Bluestar send him into exile? Fireheart shivered at the thought of being forced to live as a rogue, stealing prey, with no clan to call his own. He came to stand in front of Bluestar, and he dipped his head. I thought it was the right thing to do, he meowed quietly. Neither of the clans needed to fight this battle. I trusted you, Fireheart, Bluestar rasped. You out of all my warriors! Fireheart forced himself to meet her flinty gaze. I did it for the good of the clan, Bluestar, and I didn't tell him about the attack. I only asked him to try making peace. I thought— Silence! Bluestar hissed, lashing her tail. And that is no excuse! Why should I care if the whole clan has been slaughtered? Why should I care what happens to traitors? A wild light was growing in her eyes again, and Fireheart realized the moment of clarity had gone. If only I'd kept my kids, she whimpered. Mistyfoot and Stonefur are noble cats, far nobler than any of this ragtag bunch in ThunderClan. My children would have never betrayed me. Bluestar? Fireheart tried to interrupt, but she ignored him. I gave them up to become deputy, and now StarClan is punishing me. Oh, StarClan are clever, Fireheart. They knew the cruelest way to break me. They made me leader, and then they let my cats betray me. What is it worth now to be the leader of ThunderClan? Nothing! It's all empty. Oh, her paws worked fiercely among the moss. Her eyes were glazed, staring at nothing. Her mouth gaped in a soundless wail. Fireheart shuddered in dismay. I'll fetch Cinderpelt. Stay where you are! Each word rasped out separately. I need to punish you, Fireheart. Tell me a good punishment for a traitor. Nearly sick with fear and shock, Fireheart forced himself to reply. I don't know, Bluestar. But I do. Her voice was now a low purr, with a strange note of amusement in it. Her gaze locked with Fireheart's. I know the best punishment of all. I'll do nothing. I'll let you be deputy still and leader after me. Oh, that should please StarClan. A traitor leading a clan of traitors. May they give you joy of it, Fireheart. Now get out of my sight! This scene is so heartbreaking, because Bluestar's muddled mind is losing faith in the one cat she thought she could trust, when Fireheart was only trying to act with the clan's best interests in mind, to avoid battle and unnecessary bloodshed. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think about this scene. It was so frustrating to me as the reader to see Bluestar upset at Fireheart for making the right decision. It's kind of strange because in this book, Bluestar is more of the antagonist, causing more problems and being more of a roadblocker than a help with the problems arising in this book. Let me know what you think about this part of Bluestar's character down below. Greetings, my Bluestar enthusiasts! Welcome back to day 11 of Bluestar's week. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is a bittersweet one, of Bluestar being reunited with her two grown kits, Stonefur and Mistyfoot. The bitter of the sweet is that they do not know that she is their mother, and they're going to attack her, until Fireheart spills the tea. Yeah, she's your mom. What? I'll read the scene to you now. It's on pages 188 through 191 of A Dangerous Path. The River Clan cats had advanced until they were almost touching her, their fur bristling, their teeth bared in a snarl. Call yourself a leader. Why won't you fight? He drew back a paw to bring it breaking down Bluestar's shoulder. At the same instant, Fireheart launched himself down the rock face. He landed hard on the gully, practically on top of Stonefur, forcing him away from Bluestar. On the clan leader's other side, Mistyfoot let out a screech of defiance and unsheathed her claws. Stop! Fireheart yelled. You can't harm Bluestar! She's your mother! The River Clan warriors froze, their blue eyes wide with shock. What do you mean? Stonefur rasped. Greypool was our mother. No, listen. Fireheart bundled Bluestar against the rock face and stood in front of her. He could still hear the yells and spitting of the battle on the other side of the rock. But suddenly it had nothing to do with the confrontation in the gully. Bluestar gave birth to you in ThunderClan, he meowed desperately. But she couldn't keep you. Your father Oakheart brought you to RiverClan. I don't believe you! Stonefur drew back his lips into a vicious snarl. It's a trick! No, wait, yowled Mistyfoot. Fireheart doesn't lie. How would you know? He's a ThunderClan cat. Why should we trust him? He advanced on Fireheart, claws out, and the ThunderClan warrior braced himself for an attack. But before Stonefur could spring, Bluestar slipped out from behind him and faced the two RiverClan cats. My kids! Oh, my kids! Bluestar's voice was warm, and when she turned her head, Firestar could see that her eyes were blazing with admiration. You're such fine warriors now. I'm so proud of you. Stonefur glanced at Mistyfoot, uncertainty showing in his twitching ears. Stonefur was shook. He did not see that coming. He doesn't even know Fireheart that well. But Mistyfoot, who has had many encounters with Fireheart, knows that he's telling the truth. Bluestar is their mother. They're part ThunderClan. Bluestar's worry-worn brain is just happy to be in the presence of her kids, and she warmly greets them. It makes me wonder how things would have been different if she'd never given them up, and they'd grown up as ThunderClan warriors. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what you think would have been different in the story. Would Bluestar have gone crazy with her kids by her side? Or was being away from them the very thing that tore her apart? Let me know what you think down below. Hello and welcome back to day 12 of Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluestar drowning in the memories of her life, choking on the choices she's made. Were they the right ones? I'll read this scene to you now. It's on pages 3 through 4 of Bluestar's prophecy. Bluestar narrowed her eyes, still fixed on the pack leader. You should have never threatened ThunderClan, she hissed. Suddenly the dog stretched his head forward and grasped her foreleg in its jaws. She felt the ground slide out beneath her as the dog dragged her over the edge. Wind roared around her, blasting her pelt as she fell. The river swirled and foamed below. She scrabbled desperately against the cold, wet air and struggled free of the dog just a moment before she hit the water. The freezing river knocked the breath out of her body. Blind, she struggled against the current, fighting her way towards air, her heart gripped by panic. Goosefeather's prophecy burned in her mind. Water will destroy you. Her thick fur, heavy with water, dragged her down. The river tumbled all around her. She didn't know which way was up. Her lungs screamed for air. Terror scorched through her. She was going to drown there in the foamy waters of the gorge. Don't give up. A meow sounded clear and familiar through the roar of the water. Oakheart? The father of her kids was murmuring in her ears. It's like running through the forest. Let your paws do the work. Raise your chin. Let the water carry you up. His voice seemed to lift her, calming her panic, and she found her paws churning steadily through the water. Her heart, tight with pain, slowed as she strained to raise her chin, until at last the wind whipped at her face. Coughing and gagging, she snatched a gulp of air. That's the way, Oakheart whispered in her ear. His voice sounded so gentle, so welcoming. Perhaps she should just let the river sweep her away into the softness of his fur. Bluestar, swim! Head for the bank! Oakheart's mew was sharp now. Our kits are waiting. Our kits? The thought then hit her like a lightning bolt. You can't leave them without saying goodbye. Energy surged through Bluestar as she began to fight once more. A dark shape buffeted her, knocking her underwater again, but she struggled to the surface, spluttering as water filled her mouth and caught in her throat. The rolling body of a dog tumbled past her and then was swept downstream. If a dog can't fight this current, how can I? The treetops blurred overhead as the river swept her along. We wanted to draw a scene like this to show some reflection, like Bluestar's life flashing before her eyes just before the end. Did she fulfill her prophecy? She blazed ahead and became leader, sacrificing her kits to do so. But water still destroyed her. Was her fate sealed the moment she laid eyes on Oakheart? Is that when the water seeped into her fate, distorting her future and her mind? Her mind warped as the years passed, her choices eating away at her sanity. So much regret. Yet, she'd been a good leader when Fireheart first joined the clan. Good, but still naive to danger. She had ignored Fireheart's warnings about Tigerclaw, and that nearly killed her. She internalized everything, not even sharing her true amount of lives with the clan. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what choices you think led to Bluestar's descent into madness. Good day, Warrior fans. Welcome back to day 13 of Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluestar contently leaving to join StarClan, after resolving and receiving forgiveness from her kits for giving them away. I'll read the scene to you now. It's on pages 4 through 7 of Bluestar's prophecy. Bluestar churned the water, but her exhausted legs felt like sodden leaves, flailing uselessly. Suddenly, Teeth grabbed her scruff. Was Elkhart going to drag her to safety? Bluefur blinked the water from her eyes long enough to glimpse orange fur. Fireheart. The ThunderClan deputy had gotten a hold of her. "Keep your head up," he growled through clenched jaw. Bluestar tried to help him, but her pelt was heavy, and her paws were too tired to fight the weight of the water. Fireheart's teeth tore at her scruff as the water dragged her down. Then another body brushed against hers. One of the dogs? More teeth bit her scruff, paws clutched at her flank, heaving her upwards. She felt the strong, gentle movement of cats around her. Was StarClan carrying her to its hunting grounds? Barely conscious, she let herself be dragged through the water until pebbles scraped at her flank, and she felt solid earth beneath her. Paws and teeth heaved her up the gritty shore and laid her on soft grass. Her chest felt as though it was packed with stones, making each breath a struggle. Her eyes stung, too filled with water to see. Bluestar? She recognized the mew of Mistyfoot. What about Stonefur? Is he here too? We're both here. A strong paw pressed against her flank. Elkhart had been right. Their kits had been there waiting for her. Bluestar fought to keep her eyes open. She could just make out the shape of Stonefur. His wide shoulders were silhouetted against the green canopy of trees. So much like his father. Mistyfoot stood beside him, her sodden pelt clinging to her frame. Bluestar felt breath on her cheek. "Is she okay?" came the voice of her daughter. Fireheart was leaning in. "Bluestar, it's Fireheart. You're all right now. You're safe." Bluestar hardly heard him. She was gazing at her kits. "You saved me," she murmured. "Shh, don't try to talk," Mistyfoot urged. "But there's so much to say." Bluestar stretched her muzzle forward. "I want to tell you something. I want to ask you to forgive me for sending you away." As she coughed, water burbled at her lips, but she forced herself to keep going. "Elkhart promised me Graypool would be a good mother to you." "She was," Stonefur mewed flatly. Bluestar flinched. "I owe her so much." She wished that she had more breath to explain. "Elkhart, too, for mentoring you so well. Why hadn't she found a way to tell them this before? I watched you as you grew up. I saw how much you had to give the clan who adopted you. If I had made a different choice, you would have given all your strength to ThunderClan." She shuddered, struggling for air. "Give me." She stared at her kits, and time seemed to halt as she watched Mistyfoot and Stonefur exchange an uncertain glance. "Please forgive me." "She suffered a lot of pain for her choice," said Fireheart. "Please forgive her." "Stop it. Forgiveness would mean nothing if it had to be dragged from them." She willed Fireheart to hold his tongue. Mistyfoot bent her head and licked Bluestar's cheek. "We forgive you, Bluestar." Bluestar closed her eyes as her two kits began to lap at her drenched pelt. It was the first time they'd shared tongues since that snowy day that she'd left them with Elkhart. There was no more need to cling to her last life. Fireheart would kindle a new flame and blaze through the forest in her place. She closed her eyes and gave way to the dizzying blackness. I think that forgiveness was all she ever needed. The guilt of giving up her kits tore her up for years, and the fact that she internalized it and kept her pain a secret made it all the worse. It made me so happy that her kits forgave her, and that she was able to let go of all of her hostilities towards StarClan, and peacefully leave this life, all conflicts resolved. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below what your reaction was to reading this scene from the book. Did it make you cry? Let me know down below. Hey, Lillie here! Welcome back to day 14 of Bluestar, the final day that we'll be spending with her during this leader's special. Starting tomorrow, Firestar will be our new focus. Comment down below some scene ideas for us to do from his life. Thank you! Alright, now back to Bluestar. The scene that my sister Rachel's going to be drawing today is of Bluestar's happy reunion with her loved ones in StarClan. I can only imagine the joy of Bluestar to get to see her lovely daughter Mosskit again, and to finally have a chance to connect with her and teach her all about the living world. Bluestar is also reunited with her mate Elkhart. She was never able to be there for him when he died. She had to mask her pain, Before, no one could know of her connection to him. But now, with the boundaries and scent markers of the living world no longer mattering, she can run and greet Oakheart and hear all the fun stories of Mistyfoot and Stonefur growing up, making the years of separation fade away. Also in StarClan, Bluestar is able to see her sister Snowfur and tell her what a great warrior Whitestorm has grown into. Lionheart, Moonflower, and Sunstar are also there, happy to see her again, and they tell her that they were always there for her, rooting her on. It must have been sad for them when Bluestar bitterly turned away from StarClan, refusing to listen to them for a brief period. But I'm sure they were overjoyed that she was able to resolve her issues with StarClan and return home to be with them. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below who else you think would be there to greet Bluestar and StarClan and welcome her home.